welcome to episode 2 of the John Alexander Show. Um, Episode 1, man, we went over a bunch of things. Politics, pro wrestling, music, uh, a lot of my interests. Today we're going to go over a few of those same interests and a couple of more, and it should be fun. It's been a lot of work, setting everything up, and some things I still haven't accomplished, but I feel like it'll get there. It's been a lot of fun though too, and a great learning experience. I've always been one to try my hand at a little bit of everything, both professionally and with my hobbies. Now finishing them is a different story. You can ask my wife about that. It drives her crazy. Uh, and I'm sure you can tell I'm working the jitters out, and that first episode had a ton of jitters. Putting my face and my voice out there, especially saying some of the things that I do, is pretty foreign to me. And there's, I don't feel like there's a whole lot of people that would do it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. There are more people that are standing up and doing that though, and not being afraid to say what's on their mind. But I just want to thank everyone for tuning in and listening. And the show will improve as we go on, I promise. It definitely will. I think one way to improve the show would be I'd say just continue to let more of my true self and personality out there. But that goes for not only the podcast, but just life in general, I guess. Everyone gets too wrapped up in what others think of them, and I feel like everyone's wearing a huge mask in public, at least, and around others. And I don't want to say everyone, but a lot of people are wearing a huge mask in public, and they have no individuality, no personality. Uh, and I think it's time to take the mask off. We gotta let you shine. Whatever it is, who cares? Be comfortable in you. And like I said, I'm still guilty of holding back at times, and I don't know. Am I afraid of some kind of judgment from people I don't even really give a damn about? I never did. You know, Peers or people that I went to school with, I could never stand those people. Most of them, 99% of them, I don't now either. So what do I care what they think? What do you care what complete strangers think? Who gives a damn? I don't know. Um, I've been getting way better at letting my individuality shine through. If you look at pictures of me from 2 or 3 years ago, you probably couldn't even tell it was the same person, just to be completely honest with you. So I've made great strides in that, but I'm going to continue to work. But now that I think about it, I probably need to take a second to also just pat myself on the back for that, um, for all of the growth in my personality and as a person. I don't think we take enough time to do that, to think about the things that we've done right and give ourselves that pat on the back. We need to do more of that now that I think about it. We acknowledge our failures every single day. You know, Sometimes we acknowledge our failures before they even happen. Why the hell do we do that? And we don't stop and pat ourselves on the back for anything that we do good. That's ridiculous. That's masochistic. Let's stop that. Let's give ourselves all pats on the back every day. Let's give ourselves a pat on the back before we do something. Fuck yeah. Instead of assuming negative. Yeah. Um, I guess we've got some mostly bullshit news for the day. This time Donald Trump's going to lead us off again. And man, I'm going to tell you, this, I don't think everyone understands just how big this could potentially be. Like earth shattering big. You know, in the first episode, I kind of went out there and I voiced my frustrations and my curiosities with Donald Trump as a two-time voter of his. And I would still like answers about his ties with the Saudis and his rush to get an experimental vaccine out there and into the veins of millions of innocent Americans, unsuspecting, and his ridiculous sounding micro cities or whatever they are. I I don't know, but this this indictment and everything that's playing out here is complete bullshit. Even the most avid never Trumper would, deep down in their heart, if they have one, agree. At least in my opinion, or God, I would hope so. You know, Donald Trump isn't a saint, but I'll tell you this, everyone, and I mean everyone, if they aren't living under a rock, they know by now just what kind of despicable, low-life scum all of the other dirt bags in Washington are, and always have been. Every single one of them have gotten away scot-free. This is a witch hunt for Donald Trump. It's downright third world socialist government type shit. Okay? No other way to put it. I mean, I want everyone to get a load of this. For his payment of 100 and some odd $1,000 to porn star Stormy Daniels shortly before the 2016 election to ensure her silence on their previous affair, this man has now been indicted, and he's a former president of the United States of America. That's never happened before. Has been indicted. Okay, and they're saying that they're going to hold him at Rikers Island in the infirmary. I mean, good Lord, people, do you not see how easy it could be to? We know what they had planned for Donald Trump, and they're going to try to start a fucking riot. Don't fall for it. He sent you into the Capitol on the January the 6th, or he tried to send you into it, did he not? I mean, we've always got to remember that. Um, in the latest TikTok ban news here in Crazy World, the U.S. Senate has introduced the Restrict Act to fast track rather, this ban of theirs. The bill proposes to prohibit certain transactions between persons in the United States and foreign adversaries. My question is, who are these adversaries? Because to me and everyone watching and listening to this right now, it's starting to look like you or you're our adversary. Okay, as in we, the people, if that wasn't already grossly obvious. And what transactions? The transactions of real valuable information, truth. Of course, they also claim this is to protect our data. I'll translate that one for you. Okay, they want to keep They want to keep your personal information solely in the hands of U.S. intelligence and their various allies, and out of the hands of China. I guess that's it for today's mostly bullshit news. But let me tell you, hold on, excuse me, I had to get a drink of water there. But let me tell you, watch that Donald Trump stuff close, and you're gonna have to watch it close because it's gonna start going bam, 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 bam. It's all gonna start popping off. I'm telling you, watch me now. Man, it's gonna be like a whirlwind, and it's gonna set off like a string of dominoes. It's gonna be something insane, in my opinion. Um, it's WrestleMania weekend. Hell yeah! Anybody plan on watching? I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, or at least most of it. I'm not a big guy on modern wrestling these days, or most of it at least, but I do love the art of it, like I mentioned in the first episode. I've especially lost interest in the WWE over the last few years, but since Triple H took over the booking, I found myself, I pop in here and there. I'm just curious, getting a little bit of interest, wanting to see if anything changes. It was just feeling stale to me, man. I've always loved the WWF and the WWE. But it just got to a point where it felt so stale to me, man. I never lost my love for it, but I don't know. I guess Triple H taking over kind of gave me some hope and sparked a little bit of interest back. I checked it out. Bray Wyatt's return is a good example of, since Triple H took over, me just checking out the shows just out of curiosity. But what happened with that, man? What the fuck happened, right? I don't even have words for it, man. I feel like the theme thing and that Firefly Funhouse was it's a it's a it's awesome. It's a fucking awesome gimmick. It's great, but it's super complex and it's for deep thinkers, and the general public just isn't quite there yet. They're almost there and they're totally gonna get it, but they're not there yet. And the booking did him no favors. The dumbass Mountain Dew pitch black thing. I knew that was gonna tank both of those guys, him and LA Knight, who is a fantastic guy and talent, and should be way up there, way up there in the card. I knew it was gonna tank both of those guys. Um, I mean, the blatant advertising in pro wrestling, I think, is disgusting. I hate it. It should never be, the advertising should never seep that deeply into the product. My personal opinion is just it taints your product completely. Doesn't feel like professional wrestling anymore. In my personal opinion, that's just me. Um, but that's beside the point. To just finish off, and because we're way off topic, I'm sorry, and move along from Bray. Uh, Uncle Howdy never went anywhere or made any sense really. The Bobby Lashley thing, my God. Um, I don't know. Is he? Last time I heard, he's walked out on the WWE. That may be a work. It may not be. I guess we'll see. But let's just move on. Let's get back on track. This card is loaded. This card is loaded, and this is another instance of when my interest is piqued. Of course, most WrestleMania years it is. I didn't check out the last couple of them at all, but this is going to change now. With Triple H being in charge of the booking, I don't know. I just want to see how it goes, man. And the card looks fantastic. Um, I started to check out Royal Rumble, but I kind of had an idea. That one was kind of predictable in my mind. I knew it was going to be Rhea and Cody, so I kind of skipped it. Definitely not going to skip this one. Hope both those guys win. You know, Rhea wins her uh, SmackDown Women's title against Charlotte, and Cody uh, wins his match against Roman. But the entire second night, Sunday night, is pretty much it's bangers top to bottom. Can't miss that night at all, man. At all. And to be honest with you, there isn't much that I'm not interested in from night one. And that's saying something because I haven't watched much of their programming outside of following Dominique Mysterio through clips over the months. I'm really looking forward to his match with Ray, by the way. Uh, hoping to see Ray put him over big, end it with the two embracing and a hug in the end, maybe. Dom turning face again. He's ready for it, I think. I'm big on him, and I get a lot of shit for it, but ever since I watched Eddie stand in that ring and tell him that he was his real poppy, and watch Dom like burst out in real tears, man, I love that guy. Love him. And I always will. Um, but I think he's ready for it. Um, I've been watching his rise and his continuous improvements he's making in the ring, on the microphone, his look, his swagger. Man, it's all improving every day in my opinion. It's all money. I love Dom. Uh, I can't wait for Charlotte, uh, Flair, like I said, Rhea Ripley, along with that Dom match, and yeah, the Usos defending the tag straps against Sammy and KO too. That should be a lot of fun, man. Holy shit. I got a feeling that we're finally going to see the Usos lose those belts, man. May just see it. This is going to be a big. I really do. I think it's going to, now that I'm sitting here and thinking about it, this is going to be a. This is a huge WrestleMania. There's going to be a lot of pivotal title changes here, possibly. I'm in. I am in, baby. Let's go. Um, with it being WrestleMania weekend, hold on. Hold on. Let her drink water. With it being WrestleMania weekend, I want to stick with the wrestling theme and speak on a very forbidden name over the years in professional wrestling, and that's Chris Benoit. I know that just mentioning that name is probably going to perk up people's ears. They may stop scrolling here, right here, if they're watching in clips on TikTok. Um, the Benoit case was always something that didn't quite sit right with me. Even with how young and naive I was when it all went down. I mean, what was it, 2007? You know, I was 21. I was a kid still. In my opinion, uh, and you know how your intuition just tells you when things are off? Um, mine always did with the Chris Benoit double murder suicide. Benoit, by all accounts, was considered one of the most level headed and respected guys in the professional wrestling business and a true locker room leader. I mean, yes, his demeanor had gradually diminished over time, probably starting around 2005. But I don't think that was CTE and steroids related like they would like for you to believe. You know, I'm not gonna get super deep into it here today. I'm not gonna do that. If this piece of the show gets good reaction, I'll be happy to be that guy, take that risk, and that is a big risk, and deep dive on Benoit. I think his best friend, Eddie Guerrero, dying suddenly played a big role in what happened. um, but I also think some things much more sinister are to play and at blame with all of this. And I'll warn you, it gets super deep and super weird, man. It gets super weird. It's not it's not for the faint of heart. Um, if you really want to know deep down what happened with Chris Benoit. I've also been refreshing myself lately on the case and listening to the evidence files of the voicemail that was on the telephone when the police arrived on the scene, the home phone, statements from their neighbor and others. And, it just solidifies my suspicions for me. Um, and with WrestleMania here and the Hall of Fame, and knowing that this man very much so rightfully deserves a spot in that Hall of Fame that he will probably never get, that's heartbreaking. It really is. And and you want to know what's even more heartbreaking than that? He has a surviving kid that dreamed of being a pro wrestler, looked up to his father his whole life, dreamed of being a pro wrestler, and that was stolen from him. Everything. Yeah, man. I'll dig into this more if you guys want it. Just let me know. Uh, what else do we have? Um, on TikTok, I've ran into this super interesting account over the last several days. This guy is going by the handle Dragon Rider 3342 on TikTok. At first, I really didn't know where he was going with this. I just found it extremely interesting and plausible, honestly, because why not these days? And we all know how the royal family in England is or was. But this guy says that we live in a matrix, which again, very plausible. Almost everyone is on board with the matrix theory these days, I believe, or the majority of the public, right? Um, at this point. But the twist is that in 1947, according to Dragon Rider 3342, the twist is that in 1947, a new matrix was created within our already existing simulation by England, this new matrix within the matrix. And the true reason for World War II was that Hitler held the key to the original simulation. We know if that's the case, how that all played out, and the victor always writes the history books, right? So he just dropped part two of all of his information on this very, very interesting theory, very possibly fact. And I think you should check it out. It's getting super juicy, man. Super juicy. I think this is, I personally think this is going towards John Titor, if you've ever heard of him, the time traveler who briefly took a rest stop in our dimension in the early 2000s. Uh, isn't it crazy how many conspiracy theories over all of these years on the internet may actually be conspiracy fact after all? Hmm. Anyways, yeah. Dragon Rider, Dragon, Dragon, Rider, Rider, 3342. Please do yourself a favor and check him out on TikTok. I think everyone should be listening to this guy. At least have an open mind with it, you know? That never hurts. I'll be following along, of course, and we'll probably go over it right here on the podcast as he drops more posts, for sure. Definitely. Um, all right, man. That's we're at almost 27 minutes here, and I guess that's about it. You know, I aim for about 30 minutes on these shows, and this was a pretty good show. Um, Mainly wrestling themed with WrestleMania over this Saturday and Sunday night. I'll be kicked back, chilling, relaxing, watching that. I don't know about you guys. Hopefully, you will be. If you're not watching WrestleMania, hopefully you're getting to watch the show or event program of your choice. Kick back, enjoy yourself, um, and just have a great weekend. And again, I want to thank you all for watching, especially if you made it this far. Much love to you, and I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back with you uh, next weekend with episode 3, if not before then. You never know. Not gonna hold myself to anything though. Until next time, guys, until episode 3, I love you so much. Take care.